Hey guys, just want to go over what we would love to do for you at FUMC El Dorado. As you know, the original LTS security camera system that was there was probably rock solid, but there's been two generations after that of products added. First was the Ubiquity switches. They're connected to the Hike Vision cameras, and then there was another generation of just OEM switches that were connected to Daewoo cameras. And then over the years, there's been a lot of things that have been connected to those switches instead of them being dedicated just to the cameras. And so what's happened is anytime you have a power outage, network instability of any kind, then you lose cameras, and then it's just a mystery of where to start and what's wrong and how to get it all back on. And it just takes a lot of time and a lot of billable service hours. So what I want to present to you is an alternative to that. I want to present to you a rock solid, consistent, predictable system. And so let me show you this. This is a diagram of what we would like to do. Over in the Hannah building, top right, what we have right now is a Ubiquity switch upstairs, just hanging behind the TV in the youth room. Downstairs, there's an OEM switch just hanging down the inside of the wall in the room next to the Hannah building entrance. And then in the kindergarten area, there is a 8-port switch living above the ceiling tiles there. That one's sketchy because it is sharing the switch with the access control system. And so we had a little bit of trouble there. And then over in the sanctuary, there's one of the older Ubiquity switches on the desk of the choir director's office there with the two cameras connected to it. In the admin building, the NVR is there on the floor, sitting on its side with a switch beside it, and everything's just kind of comes into it. Nothing's labeled. It's very hard to service, and which is unfortunate because it needs to be serviced a lot. So what we want to do instead is, first of all, in the Hannah building, we want to eliminate one of those switches and create just a wall-mounted rack, vertical rack. So with a switch and an 16-port switch and a UPS, just a single rack space, rack-mounted UPS there for those three cameras, and also to support the wireless bridge receiver on the building. That would connect back via the wireless bridge to the main switch in the IT room. In the kindergarten section, we want to do the same thing. We want to create just basically a mirror image in every location of the UPS, same UPS with the same switch. All of those cameras will connect into it. It'll leave the switch that's there dedicated to the access control system, and it'll stand alone from that, connect back to the main switch. And then over in the sanctuary, same thing, rack-mounted UPS, rack-mounted switch for those cameras, and then all of that comes back in. So we've eliminated some of it, but we've created basically 4 zones. We've created the admin building zone, the sanctuary zone, the Hannah building zone, and the kindergarten zone. And so creating these zones gives us a lot more ability to do the IP addresses in such a way that makes sense around those zones. In other words, the sanctuary would be zone 1, so it'd be 192.168.0, which is the protocol for the whole campus, .0.10, and then 11, and so on and so forth. Zone 2 would be ending in 202123, 2223. And so that gives us the ability to really start from scratch and really set this up in a way that is very serviceable, with everything labeled, everything diagrammed, everything documented. And so we want to replace the NVR, of course, with a new 32-channel NVR with 4 hard drive bays, and then the same UPS, same switch, and mount all of that beside the switch rack, which is completely full, packed full there in the IT room, but create another rack beside it for all of our goodies there. So this is, let me show you the estimate, the proposal that we've come up with for you. First is our 31 cameras, switching out all of these cameras to match the NVR. I'm going to tell you what the advantage is there. Anytime you have different generations of cameras, you have to use something called ONVIF. ONVIF is a universal protocol language between all brands of cameras, just about. But what happens is you have to specify so much information there that it gets lost a lot of times, and those cameras drop regularly. So along with the ONVIF protocol, when you're adding a camera, you see a lot of different protocols. You'll see a Sony protocol, Hikvision protocol, all these different protocols. But there's a protocol in there that I love. It's called default. The default protocol actually doesn't require you to enter in any information because the camera is already mated to that NVR. So it sees the camera and it doesn't need you to tell it anything about the camera. It already knows. So that means that the cameras stay connected, and if there is an outage or network instability, anything like that, that it re-adds the camera quickly. So 31 of those, because we already have one installed there in the hallway. But then there's our NVR, four 4 terabyte hard drives, so that's 16 terabytes. It'll hold up to 40 if you can believe it, 40 terabytes. But that's not necessary. I think we can get it done with 16. That'll give you, with 32 high definition cameras, you need a lot of space. You really do. Especially if you're having like the kindergarten, all the classes going on, then there's constant movement, which means it's constantly recording, right? So you need a lot of hard drive space so you have enough historical footage if something happens. Then we've got our 16 port PoE plus switches. We've got our UPSs, our rack mount UPSs. We've got our racks. We've got the monitor for the IT room. That's something that's really missing there for service. Since the mouse for the NVR and all of the settings, adjusting everything, are there in the IT room, there really needs to be a monitor. I've been working off of my little, I don't know what it is, 7-inch monitor, trying to see 32 cameras on a 7-inch monitor. But having that there allows you to do service easily and actually make adjustments to the NVR without having to walk out of the room. So we've got, I think we'll have to replace about 6 of the cable runs, and then there's our insulation and materials, and then so it comes out to 17.9, so just under 18K after tax for the whole project. But what you end up with is a whole new system. It's a whole different system than what you have now. So if that's something that you're interested in, just throwing it out there. I had a talk with Andrea about it, and just insisted, hey, let me throw this at you and just tell me what you think. We would love to do this for you. Like I told her, we don't mind fixing things. That's what we do. But the billable service hours are going to start adding up. And so it just makes sense in the long run to give you something that's it's not just about the service, and it's about the downtime. Anytime there's an incident, you really can't afford downtime. So I would encourage you to consider this proposal. If you have anything that you want to change or add, just let me know. This is a collaboration. So we're here to serve you. We appreciate you. Let us know. Jerry at bensberg.tech, 870-814-0714. Thanks, guys.